Today I will be reviewing all 9 episodes of Star Wars Visions on Disney Plus, and I gotta say, I like the show a lot. Everyone watch it. But we are starting from episode 1, and we'll work our way up. Also, tomorrow will probably be the ranking of all 9 episodes of Star Wars Visions. And yep, now that's about it, and start the review. Episode 1. It's great. My only problem is the story. Main character's kind of bland, kind of generic, but yeah, that's kind of it. But the action is great. The art style, this cinematography, it's amazing. I like this episode a lot. It's not my favorite because the story's not great, but about him going to the village and then having a cool fight with that also like umbrella type of lightsaber that the enemy has, it's great. It's very creative. This creative episode for the most part, besides the story, like I said, and also the ending. The ending was pretty good also. It led a lot for the future of the storyline. Obviously they're probably never going to continue it. It's an anthology show after all, but still, they could easily make a part 2, which in my opinion, I really want them to make a part 2 of almost every episode in this show, and this one is great. The fighting is great. The cool moves they do in the fight is great. It's just one big giant fight scene basically, and I like it. It's a great starter episode to show you that this is a very Japanese inspired show, and yeah, pretty much. It's first episode, very entertaining. Do not expect a very in-depth story and characters. I gotta say, this is one of my least favorite episodes in the whole show. Number one, I think it would be a lot of fun to have like a rock band type story with these characters and stuff, not as serious as other episodes, and it has a lot of heart in the episode. The only thing is, if it had more time to flesh out these characters, to make you feel the stakes and stuff like that, it would be great, because overall this is just one big song in the episode, and that's about it. I just didn't like it at all. Characters are bland. I didn't connect to them at all. Another thing is, main story itself, in my opinion, it could have been good. All you needed was good characters, an end that was good. The actually end wasn't that bad. It was a really heartwarming, happy ending and stuff, but I feel like instead of having just one big giant song in it, should have had more heart to it. It had heart to it, but it should have had more of it, Because all it was is just blah blah blah. This thing happens. Oh, you're like, oh yeah, just to start, to move the plot. Then afterwards, you're like, oh, it's just a big giant song, some other stuff, and then the ending is like, yep, happy ending, done. That's it. But where is the parts besides the song, that's meant to take up the middle, but it's just a song that takes up the entire middle. That's why after this, I was just like, after the episode, I was like, did I miss something? Or did I fall asleep during it? Or something like that. That's not a good feeling to have, in my opinion. So, I gotta say, not for me, this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, but I just didn't enjoy it at all. Besides the art style. Art style is pretty good. I gotta say, I hate anime, but this is the most anime episode out of the bunch, and I actually enjoyed it. Okay, the action gets batshit crazy, and I like it a lot. Story is pretty strong. Characters are the problem, though. If it was a little longer, I would love to see a more bond between these characters, and then when that story happens, and when the bond breaks, I guess, or the conflict in the story happens, you actually feel it. But overall, it's a great episode for the action mainly, which I assume that's the main reason of the episode, and I think it succeeds. And yeah, it's pretty good, to be honest. Very entertaining. Art style is really good, and overall, I like it a lot. It's one of those episodes where you just turn off your brain, watch it. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, pretty good. Story, like I said, not bad, but only if the characters were to that story, I guess. That's about it for this episode, and now on to the next one. I gotta say, I don't like this episode at all. It's way too slow, and nothing happens till the very end. And when the very end happens, you're like, that's it? I just wasted my time. I really want more. Overall, art style is great. The ending isn't bad. But everything else I just didn't like. Way too slow in pacing. Story is not bad, but it's just the pacing is the problem. The story could have been interesting. I mean, it's an interesting premise. It just didn't have nothing happened during the time. You know, it was just a lot of exposition, and a lot of arguments, bunch of stuff happening. Or not a bunch of stuff happening, but stuff happening that doesn't contribute to the end that much. In my opinion, it just felt like it was just not satisfying. The ending felt like I. It felt like the story just started. Does that make sense? And I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Way too slow, and stuff like that. I do know a friend who did enjoy it though, so props to him, I guess, whatever. And comment down below if you guys enjoyed it, or if you guys did not enjoy it at all, like I did. Right when there was a stinker for me, this episode came, and I love it. I love it. The art style is great, like every episode, whatever. I'm not whatever. I'm props, obviously, but yeah, the lore was great in this one. I liked the lore. Like, it was phenomenal it was just amazing. And also the ending, oh my god, when all the Siths, okay, you know what, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the ending, oh yes, it was great. The ending fight scene was great. The ending reveal was great. I liked this episode a lot. Action was great, story was great, pacing was very, very well paced, in my opinion. It was great. Characters were not bad, stuff like that. I really, really hope they can make a season 2, make episodes for the most part this quality. It's a great episode. Probably not. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one of my favorites out of all 9. And now on to the next one. I love the Astro Boy anime type of style. It's amazing. I like the character designs. I like the art style. It's phenomenal. The world is great. The fight scene at the end is pretty good, and the story is very heartwarming, and it's good in my opinion. He learns his lesson and stuff like that. I liked it a lot. This episode was pretty good. It wasn't anything outstanding or whatever. It was just a solid episode. And there's not really too much else to talk about. Pacing was great. The characters were not bad. Main focus is just 2 characters for the most part. And overall, I thought it was great. Solid. It felt like an actual short movie, not like a short episode that started and ended, but actually led to something else. No, this started and then it ended. No new. It doesn't really lead into anything else, if that makes sense. Overall, that's about it for the Obi-Wan, and now on to the next one. I gotta say, I love this. It's amazing. Well, it's not amazing, but it's a great episode. The ending fight scene is great. Characters are great. Signs are great. The art style is phenomenal, and the art style in this entire show is honestly phenomenal. But this episode, I do like a lot in terms of the character designs and stuff like that. I really enjoyed the fight scene at the end, and I enjoyed the simple but very, very simple but entertaining story. And I thought it was fun. It was good entertainment. The fight scene was good. Overall, I really wanted to learn more about the Elder though, because he's still very mysterious, which I do think is good for ambiguity. Okay, I cannot pronounce that word. Sorry, but very ambiguous. Yep. Just gonna say that, which is good, but because what if he's like, he says he's not a Sith, but what if he is? What if he is like an old Sith who abandoned the Sith somehow, or the Sith, and he's on his own somehow, and he still has darkness in him? I don't know. There's so many possibilities in this. it would be cool to either explore, or if they explored it, but I do kind of like, some part of me likes that they didn't explore it, and some part of me likes, or doesn't like, that they didn't explore it, and I kind of want to know the answers. But overall, solid episode. The world, or the planet they're on is pretty cool also. I thought it was great and entertaining. Now on to the next episode. I gotta say, I like this episode a lot. It has a lot of heart in it, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Watch the family fall apart, to watch them shaking, and I like it a lot. The ending was also pretty good. Led to a lot of more possibilities and stuff, and I just like this episode a ton. The beautiful art style, the happiness in the beginning to the sadly dreadfulness of the ending. The sadness of the ending balanced with the happiness. I thought it was great. It was very heartfelt, this episode, and also it was just very interesting seeing how these characters bounced off each other, and how they like fought each other at the end, blah blah blah. I thought it was great. Sorry if I explained it really badly, but I thought this was a good episode that really had some moments that, like, it was great, basically. All the way from the ancestor part with the lightsaber till the ending of the fight scene. It was great. Right in the beginning, you're like, oh yeah, this is just generic anime. Everyone's like hyper and stuff. But then after that opening prologue or whatever, it in my opinion, it gets really good, and it gets very entertaining. And the ending happens, and then, bam, you're kind of like, oh my god, I really want to have an ending of this story, because it feels so open. Anything can happen at this point. And I thought it was a great episode. And now to the next one. I gotta say, I like this episode a lot also, and it was pretty entertaining, and it did get kind of slow in some parts. The art style was great, blah blah blah, what else? Okay, the story wasn't bad. Characters, I do wish there was more character moments where you could see the bond between the main character and the girl, so that the ending would be even more impactful. But the ending, it still hit me anyways. So that's how good the ending was, and how it left the doors open to way more stuff. And I gotta say, this episode might hit you in the feels, but I don't know. But I enjoyed it a lot, way more than other people that I know, at least. And thought it was a lot of fun, or not a lot of fun, because it's kind of sad and depressing at the end, But it's very. I liked it a lot. It interested me all the way to the end. Then the ending hits you in the gut, and I really wish if there was more character moments, at least one more, you would really feel these two characters. And then the ending. But overall, great journey, great episode, great finale to this show that I really enjoyed.